Okay, MB Moose Lover here in another video, and this is another part to my series Backyard Winter Bird Feeder Chronicles, and this is part 9, and it's basically just a continuation of my pet grouse story. We've got a few grouse around our house here around the backyard, and quite a bit of woods behind my place, and we see them quite a bit. We got apple trees on the other lawn, and there's always a few grouse around. So when I decided to feed grouse this winter, I just wanted to try out my bird feeders. I didn't want to feed them last summer, so anyway, I have been feeding here for a couple of weeks now, and anyway, had these grouse show up. I had 3, and this one here I think is the one that basically has been coming more than the other 2, and it's the one that I'm trying to train to come to the bird seed here. And I mean, they've been picking around a little bit anyway. I imagine the squirrels are hiding some in the woods, and they found it, I imagine. But this grouse, I mean, she's mainly just going around picking up these little seeds that are falling off of the birch trees right now. They're just little tiny seeds that come off these little hanging, things on the trees. So anyway, it's like pollinators or whatever. And so anyway, I basically kept putting the food closer to her, and putting little piles here and there, and I finally got her to come to a pile. And then she also come out here. Here she is. She's feeding underneath of the cable that has all my feeders on it, and she's eating these sunflower seeds here. And so I wanted to get her so she actually would eat out of a feeder, the other thing is, I didn't want to feed the deer, because the deer, they've been coming in here. There's only about 5 of them, but they're always scaring the birds, and they scare the grouse, and there's no point in feeding them. I can't afford to keep buying feed for them, and bird seed isn't quite enough for them anyway. But and once you feed them, once they get used to food, they'll just stay around. They'll just bed down here, and they won't go look for food. So I didn't want to get into that habit. I fed deer many years ago. I had 32 coming at one time, feeding them grain, and it was just that they would just come just in a herd. And anyway, I didn't want to get into that. So and the other thing is, like I said, these deer are coming and scaring the grouse, and they just come in and dig underneath these feeders and get what the birds spill. And well, once I started putting food out for these grouse, trying to, and the deer just hang around. I can't leave anything out, in a pile too much, or then the deer will just come in and clean it up at night. So anyway, I come up with a little solution here. I just kept trying to see if I could get the grouse to even come to a specific spot, and I got her coming to a pile, and then I wanted to try. I got my picnic table, and I moved it over into the woods here, and I wanted some way to keep the deer from getting at the food. So decided to put these cat litter tubs under the picnic table, where the deer can't really reach it. I mean, they haven't tried too hard yet. They probably get down on their knees and reach in there and try to get their nose down through and different places, but I kind of got solutions in mind if they try that. But so anyway, I basically tried a cardboard box first for the grouse, and I had it there, and it was just funny because the way things work out. They come right up and walked right on around the box, didn't even look in it. I thought if she saw some seed in there, she would jump in the box, but it didn't work that way. She went right on around it. And so then I just decided to I got a cat litter tub yesterday, and I already had one, and I got another one because I wanted to have one to train her with, and I stuck the other one underneath of the picnic table, and of course the gray squirrels pretty well claimed it. And anyway, But so what I did was here, I think it was today, she came up to the, well, she didn't come up to the cat litter tub because I left it there all morning, and then I was out filming the birds, and I put it back. I put it underneath the picnic table, the one that I bought. I had a blue one and a gray one. Well, I put the gray one underneath there with the blue one, and I think it was just because I was afraid that maybe I think that was last night I did that after I bought it, because I thought the deer would, of course, come in and they would eat it all. So there's the silver one. I just put it out this morning because I had it under the picnic table. So I put it there, and I thought, well, maybe she'll come up and eat, out of it, and then we'll see if we can get her to go from there under the picnic table. Well, she wouldn't come up to it. She just fed a little bit here, and then I think the gray squirrel scared her, and she went down in the woods. You'll see her run here. I think she got spooked, and she run down in the woods, and then, of course, I a little frustrated, and I was out filming birds. I was kind of standing outside. Most of the time I've had to film them through windows. It's been so cold, and this morning it was still cold, and it was windy, but at least the sun was out. So I thought, well, I'm going to film a little bit out here while I can. I have my tripod, and I was filming a few birds, and birds weren't even being that cooperative, but because the wind was so raw. But so anyway, here's the partridge, and she won't come over to this tub that I've got here. And then the squirrel, he was there somewhere, I think, and made a jump or something and scared her, and she ran away. So I think what I did was I just stuffed the tub back underneath there again. You're going to see her run here. I think she's going to take off. And I know these videos are so long here, but it's just, partridge are just take so long to do anything. You can't just make a quick video of them much. She's going to get scared here and run, and she's going to do the roadrunner thing. Pretty sure, if I remember right. I'm old, so my memory ain't that great, but I'm pretty sure. I know she didn't come up to the tub. I know that. She didn't even come near it. So, but anyway, it's fun, and just playing around with this grouse and seeing if I could domesticate her here, turn her into a songbird coming to a feeder. But I never thought that she would even notice the seeds enough to eat them. But she figured it out. I don't know. It seems to drop a lot more than she actually gets. And she's hitting them, and they're flying everywhere, and eats more snow probably than she does seeds. But I promise it's coming up here somewhere. She gets spooked. She took off, and I think it's a hen, because males usually have more gray on their backs, and then they have more like kind of darker neck feathers. But you can tell by the space and the black band on their tail too. Don't ask me exactly which it is, because I forget. It's been a long time. But there's like a space. There's a skipped black line on the middle feathers there, or on either one of the other, male or female. I just can't remember which it is. But you'll have to Google that one. But when you fan their tail out, they're missing the middle black, couple feathers of the black line. And males do have more feathers on their neck, black feathers. Yeah, and there's the squirrel. He does something there that spooks the grouse here. And that's the thing. Great thing here is that this way I can put feed out, but the deer can't get to it. They just won't bother. And I know it sounds mean, but my neighbors feed the deer some anyway, and like I said, the little bit of seed I'm giving them here wouldn't be enough, and it's just going to make them stay around where they, eventually they're not going to be able to get away if they need to get to food. So no, it's just like I said, I might even put some boughs down over the sides of the picnic table as well, just to keep them, the deer from sticking their heads in or reaching in with their feet and getting the tubs and pulling them out. And also it'll give some cover for the grouse there too to get underneath there when it's really windy and cold. So make them a little house there that they can maybe go in. And squirrel will still be in there, probably living with them, but they'll have to, work it out as far as accommodations go. But anyway, coming up to the spot here where the squirrel here, I was filming him here, and he's sitting on the edge of this, just so precarious, and they're so funny watching them, how they act. Okay, so there's one squirrel down in there, and like I said, the grouse was there. Get caught up to where I am here. The grouse was there just a few minutes ago, and then it took off. I maybe didn't catch it on camera, but the squirrel scared it and it run down. And of course, it didn't come by the tub, So now we're cutting, and this is actually later, and I'm back in the house, and I've been filming the birds some, going outside and filming them, and then kind of going back inside. It was quite cold. I go back in to get my hands warm, and then I happened to look out later, and I put the tub underneath of the picnic table because I was coming back in, and I look out, and here's the grouse, and he would have walked right by it. It was there. The silver tub was right there with the feed in it, the seed in it, and he would have walked right around it, and I filmed him here. But I've got both tubs under the picnic table now, so figures, the way things work. But so I was really upset about that. I was like, oh, you little bugger. It's like, I can't predict you, like you think he ain't going to come back, and all of a sudden he just show up. I don't know, he comes from someplace so quick, and he can disappear so quick. But anyway, when he come out here by underneath the feeders and started picking for seed, so he still got some seed, but I'm trying to set up a little motel for him here, and he's not helping me a whole lot, with learning the ropes. To try and let him know where the feed is, so he doesn't have to hunt around for it. But I'll be happy if I can get at least him and maybe all three of them to be sitting in the tub underneath the picnic table. That's my goal. So anyway, so he fed here for a bit, and like I said, I was filming birds all afternoon outside, and I had my tripod. I wasn't really using the tripod. I was just kind of shooting offhand with the camera, and there weren't a whole lot of birds. It was quite windy, and I thought it was going to be a good day today. The sun was out, but it wasn't real cold either. It's just that it was windy. The wind was a little cold, but it was like 40 degrees. But it's just, I don't have a whole lot of birds coming anyway, but they just, I got neighbors that feed birds too, so they were probably, going there when they weren't coming here. But anyway, so he picked around here, and then right here I finally got my, well, not 100% my wish, but I'll take it. I was quite pleased here that my little protege, Partridge here, he actually got over to the tub, and I've got a whole bunch of seed on the ground anyway, and he went to town right here on the pile that was next to the tub, and I don't know if he really looked inside the tub or not. He's just too busy bobbing his head. I was like, look in there, you'll see, you can jump right in. It'd be just like a swimming pool of seed, but he's too busy picking little pieces to looking for danger. You see, he's looking all the time, everywhere, just too much to do. I just don't have time to look in that tub. If there wasn't any other seed, he'd probably look in it, but then he turns to the left here, and he figures out there's a great big pile there. It's like, I've hit the mother lode. And then the gray tub has some in it too, so So, I mean, the deer probably could reach their foot in here and pull that out. And so, like I said, I'm going to try to put some boughs down around it so they won't be as tempted to try it. And yeah, he's right into the pile there now. So he's like right into a pile of seed. And this is actually, I think I got confused when I said about the squirrel scaring him. This is when the squirrel scares him and he takes off. I thought it was earlier, but it wasn't. This is when I was hoping that he would just, eventually figure out the tub, but the squirrel scared him right there. That's where it was. And scared him, and he booted her here. Once they get spooked, they don't stick around very long. I might be back later, but for now I'm a vamoose, so it's the same as me. I got her too, so later I'll be my slipper.